This is Peter Palmiotti of Palmiotti Studios, and I'm solo tonight. Alison it's too late for her, and I totally get that because I'm exhausted too. But here we are, nonetheless, and I'm here with Sammy. Thus far, Gary will be joining us during the show, but I'm going to do a little bit about what's going on with me. I realize I got to start collating projects like I'm sort of involved with. Like there's two crowdfunders happening now that I got work in. There's a sign up for another one. So Ballad of the Celestials is currently on Indiegogo. Smokes the Fox is currently on Indiegogo, and Ballad's got two covers I did. Smokes got a pinup I did that will be on the interior front cover, I believe. There's a sign up that for Wildcat Anthology, which I'm contributing a story. If you've seen me posting online, I've been posting pages to that. I'm working on that. And just, yeah, bunch of other things. I've been streaming on other people's channels. So I got to start, putting it below the video in all the links I got down there. So tonight I'm just sort of roughing it out. If you've seen last time, I did these designs, and Gary was like, they're all good, but he liked this one best. So I'm going to do Bob Boom, sort of walking through a tunnel cave, which would be a lot of fun because I love drawing rocks. And so yeah, I don't have a system in place yet to how I exactly lay it out on the page. I'm sort of just roughing it in right now, trying to figure out the spatial configuration. Yeah, what else I got going on? I got some guests coming up next week. I got somebody lined up for next month. Eventually I'll get back to, doing Monday through Friday at 4 p.m. like we were. Still trying to catch up on a lot of work. Mostly I'm focused on trying to get stuff done on the two anthology projects I'm involved with, so I can get back to retro and get back on the graphic novel. Graphic novel has a hard deadline, so I got something like 88 pages of that to ink by the end of May, I believe. So yeah, it's going to be a wild, crazy year, and there's lots more coming up. But I'll keep you all informed as we go. Let's just say hello to Sammy. Hey, Sammy.
Hey, what's going on, Peter? It's nice to see you partaking in Bob Boom cover. I'm excited to see what it looks like. Excited to color it. I'm not sure. Well, let me introduce myself. My name is Sammy Flores. I am the colorist and the letterer for Bob Boom. Bob Boom is an NFT comic series that came out in November, and we are going on our fourth issue. We just dropped the third issue on February 7th. And so, we'll discuss it more a little bit when Gary arrives. Gary's the creator, but as far as I'm concerned, I also go by Santoshi_F_baby on all the social media platforms. So I'm pretty active on Twitter and Discord and Telegram. But very, very, very busy year. We're all excited about all the new things coming into the ecosystem that I work for, which is the near blockchain. Like I said, I'm excited about all the things happening too. lot of different projects that are coming out, a lot of different things going on. So I'm, open to discussing anything you want to go ahead and discuss.
Well, for anybody that doesn't remember, both you and Gary have been on my channel previously. You can go back over the old videos and find you guys on there. And yeah, it's great to have you on, just specifically to talk about Bob Boom. But okay, so for anybody watching that doesn't know what the hell an NTF is, explain it as simply as possible to them.
Yeah, for sure. So, okay, so let me start off like at the very, very, very basic type thing, because it's a little bit complicated if I were just to tell you what it is, right? So like a little bit, not too long ago they came out with like digital currency. So as a lot of people have known, Bitcoin, Ethereum, a lot more different crypto has been getting popular. So then what happened is the Ethereum blockchain developed something called smart contracts. And smart contracts is what really is like the actual like phenomenon behind everything going on in blockchain, because that allows things to be automated. And so, fast forward a couple of years, because all this stuff started happening back in 2013. Then, Ethereum came out in 2015, I believe. And so like they started experimenting with doing all this automation. They came up with a non-fungible token, which is what an NFT is. And so that basically is what we are creating now. And an NFT is a digital asset that is like stored on a database, which is called the blockchain. And it allows people to have ownership over digital items or real items, but in digital format. So, I mean, you could make an NFT into anything. So it's kind of like a certificate of authenticity, but since it's blockchain, it is there forever, and you can see it on chain forever. And so the whole purpose of like blockchain is to kind of like give ownership to the people who are creating, because right now, whenever you create something, you kind of need like a producer or like a corporate type deal contract where they could kind of help you, and you need banks involved so they could give you some type of funding. You have to pay interest, and you get business loans and all these different things, right? So like a bunch of these different programmers were like, hey, we could figure out ways to like make it easier for creators to come and utilize this tech. And so it's kind of made it, to where we're able to retain a lot of the revenue and actually add royalties. So that way, if things are sold on a secondary market, we actually receive some type of revenue for that as well. So it's just a new thing going on. And so, it's just a lot new of technology happening, and people are really taking advantage of it and kind of exploring what we could use, like how we could utilize it. So there's a lot more use cases being done, and a bunch of exciting things happening. And we're excited to see where it's going. All we're really doing is kind of building a foundation and like roadmaps for creators to come in the future and kind of learn how to build their businesses utilizing this tech, because it's where the future is headed. I mean, we could sit back and say, oh no, things are going to stay the same. But I mean, if you watch the Super Bowl, we saw like 30 different crypto commercials or metaverse commercials. And so it's just where things are kind of headed, because the technology is so strong and everything's so transparent and so quick. And the need for a middleman between like finances and the creator economy is just like just cut out. So that's kind of like what's going on, and like the whole NFT is just adding like digital representation. And so you kind of create a token, so to speak, for whatever you create, whether it be like an image which is what the phenomenon was last year. Like everybody was really selling a lot, like just artwork. And now that we are moving forward with all this stuff, there's a lot more things that are being created. A lot more like startup businesses and like Kickstarter type things. There's a lot of experimentation going on. There's like a real good use case. For instance, there's this one project called Near Knots, and what they did is they created like a series of generative art profile pictures. And so I'm not sure if you're familiar with like generative art or like the profile picture trend that's going on right now in the digital world, but it's like similar to like the most famous one that you maybe heard of is Bored Ape Yacht Club. And you know how like have you ever heard of that, Peter?
It sounds familiar.
Yeah, so it's just like a bunch of pictures of monkeys, and they all look similar, but they all have like different facial expressions or like different accessories. And so like the way that these people create it is just like different layers on top of each other. And so it makes a different image. And so they use an algorithm like through coding, and they program it. So like you can make thousands and thousands of different versions. And so there's this one called Near Knots. And so they made 7,777 of those. And so people who hold those NFTs will get a percent of revenue from a platform that they're creating that will allow different creators to come in and make the same types of projects that they created. So like all these, like, so they made 7,777 NFTs, and they sold them at $7 near a piece, which is right now $77, and they sold out. So now they have all that money to like create like more for their brand, and for people investing and purchasing these NFTs, they're getting incentivized, sort of like a Kickstarter, right? So it's just like all these things are happening where we're kind of like experimenting. Like that's basically where we're at in the whole like crypto creator economy, Web3 space. Like everybody's real like experimental because there's no real model on how to really do it because everything's so new, right? Like only about 5% of the population really like has crypto right now. So as we move towards mass adoption, we're really trying to like figure out how to go ahead and build these models for success. And so a lot of these blockchains, not just the Near ecosystem that I work for, but different blockchains that are creating different platforms around the world are handing out grants and giving out different like all this money to creators to utilize their platforms and try to build a brand for themselves, because it's kind of like hey, we have all these resources, we just need people to come and use it, right? Like all these coders, they're not very creative from like a character standpoint. They're more like, oh, let me create the code to make this stuff work. So whenever you have a creative mind and like a technical mind come together, that's when the magic really starts to happen. So you start to think of, you start to get of all these different ways that you could utilize these NFTs, and it's just exciting because like I said before, it really cuts out the middleman. Like right now, for comics, right, you would need to get like a publisher and have like a company really like take a chance on you, right? They like really sign you and like give you a little bit of funding and have some type of marketing. Well, I mean, this way, you're kind of like building your like little, you're building like an environment or a community yourself if you're doing it this way. So like the trend going on is all these like profile picture projects, and so they're utilizing it to build their community. So all these people are investing and like they're creating utility to give back to the people who hold these NFTs, so that way they hold them longer or they sell them on the secondary market, where then they get royalties back. So it starts to create a cycle of revenue. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, I mean it's a whole lot of information up front, but yeah, that's kind of like the trend going on right now, and it's super exciting because a lot of like innovative things are happening in the blockchain space. But yeah, so NFTs, they're amazing new technology. It's really just you tokenizing whatever you're creating as an NFT. And so in this case, we're doing comic books with Bob Boom, and the utility behind it is entertainment. Right now, a lot of the NFTs are just artwork, like one picture, and so they've come up with programmable NFTs where they could change over time. You could program them to change with like the weather. You could program it to change it with the time of day. Like there's so many different things that they're doing with this technology that I mean it's really like Black Mirror-ish. That's all I could say because it's really advancing a bunch of the different things where everything's really changing. Like like I know I've talked about pretty much NFTs, and so whenever you think of blockchain right now, we only think of NFTs, but there's so many other things happening in the blockchain space where like there's this thing called DAOs, and what DAO stands for is a decentralized autonomous organization, and these DAOs are being put in place to kind of like create a new way of business where it's more like a democratic way of like governing things through transparency and utilizing blockchain technology because everything's automated. So everything has to be proposed and has to be voted on. And depending on who created the DAO, there's a set of rules that the person puts. So like if you want like 70% of the people have to vote, then that's something you put at the very beginning. And if it gets like the DAO gets too big, then you need like 70% of your like community to vote, right? And so there's just all these different things. Like that's one aspect of blockchain. Then there's a DeFi, which is a decentralized finance, where people are learning how to like be their own bank. And so how people who have money want to like invest in like IRAs and different stocks and stuff like that. Well, you could do that in blockchain. And so you're able to like what they call stake your crypto, which is pretty much like putting your money into a savings account and accruing interest and stuff like that. It's just different terminology, but it's all through like liquidity pools instead of banks. And so the reason why I started talking about the different aspects of blockchain is because what's happening is now they're trying to tie it together. So now NFTs are being you're being allowed to stake your NFTs that you own, and so you're able to earn rewards that way. So it's like I said, there's a lot of like innovative things happening, and we're glad to be a part of it, and we're just exploring. And so here's Gary, who's just popped on, and what's going on?
Hey, what's up? How come I can't? Why is this my volume so low? Hi, I just got off of work. How are you guys?
Good.
Doing awesome.
I hear you fine. Yeah. Can you hear us?
I'm feeling a little blue.
Yeah.
How are you guys?
We're doing well, man. We're doing well.
Good. I just got off work. I just rushed home. And then here I am. You guys are I can't hear it. Like I can barely hear you guys. I don't know. My volume level's all the way up. I don't know if there's a different volume or something, but can you guys hear me?
I hear you perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, so what's going on? Oh my God, my Google. Did you hear
Sammy
my Google?
was just explaining NFTs. So we're ready for you to jump in. And
see, I've been trying to figure out how they work, and finally he explains it, and I miss it.
Yeah, so I just kind of like broke down a little bit of the NFTs, of how they work, and just told them a little bit of background about what's going on in the blockchain right now, and Yeah, I mean, I could go over a little bit about what I just finished saying, but then I would have to repeat every single thing, and you know
Oh
me.
no, I was fucking with you, Sammy. I was fucking with you. It's all good. Sammy's explained the NFTs to me at least 40 times, and it's one of these days I'm gonna understand it, and then we'll be good. But they're awesome. They're fun. That's one thing I know. They're awesome. They're hip. They're cool. They're the newest thing, and if people aren't getting them, then they're missing out. They're missing out. I can cuss on here, right, Pete?
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, fucking thank you. All right, so yeah. Oh, so how you been, Pete? It's been a long time, bro. It's been a minute since we've spoken. Now, what have you been up to?
Yeah, man. You know, the world went pandemic. I mean, it's like I think the last time we really spoke was before all this craziness. You know, we've been in touch, of course, but you know, just like I've been just doing my thing as staying in this comic industry, and um one of the good things is like, okay, so like something happened early last year to where I wasn't like, I was just like doing gig after gig after gig, and I really wasn't happy with my quality. So I took a couple of months in which I sort of slowed down a bit and worked. You know, I completely stepped away from online stuff and just focused on my skills again. You know, as an inker and all that, and um, you know, sort of worked on polishing up and started drawing more and all that jazz. And towards the end of last year, I started getting cover work, and I've gotten more and more over the past couple of months. And my schedule completely blew out the window, and I'm just now getting to the point where I'm cleaning it up because I got to get, you know, obviously I got to get retro done and out to the printer, which I hope to do like in April. I got work on a graphic novel. I got to ink. That's got a hard deadline, so I got to focus on that. And I'm working on a couple of anthologies right now, a couple of short stories, and a bunch of covers. And I got to get those out of the way. So yeah, just like um, really
It's business
focused on
as
my
usual.
skills
It's the
last year,
comic book
and
business that
yeah,
people
yeah,
don't
yeah, you
understand.
know.
Yeah. People don't get it. People don't get the hustle that you have to put in. Like, I'm no longer in this hustle, right? Like, I'm like since last we spoke, right? Like, you know, my whole world's gone fucking out the door, right? And I'm working like, you know, I just got here. Why?
Right.
Because, you know, 2 years ago you wouldn't have to be like, hey, where's Odd, man? When's he gonna show up, right? Because why? I'm working on comic books all day. Like, you know, you got to work on. People don't understand, man. You got to work on 20 comic books, you know, or, you know, 3 comic books, 4 comic books, and commissions out the side, and this and that. And I mean, you have to hustle
Yep.
so, you know, it laid me up, man. It laid me up for a while. And now I'm doing retail. I'm doing sales. I don't know if retail is the same. I mean, I guess it's retail. I don't know. But I love it, man. I think it's great.
Yeah.
It's like so easy. Like the guys at my work, you know, they're like, oh, you know, this job, blah, blah. I'm like, there's a break sometimes for me to come to this place, and they pay me money. And it's like, you know, it's a break for me. Like I get to
Yeah.
talk to people and hang out, and I'm not working. Like you just listed 28 things, Pete. Like you're like, I'm working on this and that and this and that, and then a little bit of this and then some. And you're like, because I'm taking it slow, right now. I'm only working on 28 things. And I tell you what, I don't miss that at all. That was, you know, like I was just working with a couple. That's why I'm late. This really cool couple. They're very interested in NFTs. I was telling them about it while we were, you know, getting their stuff and everything like that. And, you know, they were like, oh, wow, this is cool. You know, and just the fact that I get to talk to people face to face, on a daily basis is fantastic. I like what you're doing there too. This is the Bob Boom cover that you're working on.
Yeah. I'm just sort of mapping it out. I'll get more reference and whatnot and make it really nice. It's like I woke up at 3 o'clock this morning, so right now I'm like completely dead. But whatever.
I don't miss it. It's still tough, like, right, Sammy? Like this last issue we had that came out, we were delayed for like what, like we delayed about 2 weeks, right?
Week and a half. Yeah.
Like, oh god.
Yeah, I mean, it's just definitely been a little bit challenging at some points. But
we've been at each other's throats like never before. Pete. You don't even understand.
Yeah, it's wild.
So let me get the lowdown. Like, were you approached to do this, or how did that work?
So
okay.
To do it.
You want to take it, Sam? Or you want me to take it?
I'll go ahead and I'll take it to when we got to meet with Ricky and Afik, and then you could go ahead and take it from there.
Okay. Cool. Absolutely.
Cool. So as I mentioned before, I actually work in the Near ecosystem. I actually work for Near I work for the Open Web Sandbox. I'm a moderator for that particular organization that gets funded by Near. And so while we were holding an event, one of their platforms called Paras, it's just called Paras, and they're actually out of Indonesia. They're one of the first NFT marketplaces that was built on the Near ecosystem. And so at this point, this was back in, I believe, August or June timeframe that we had this event. And so whenever the founder was speaking at this event, he was saying that he just got a grant to start creating new collectibles on his NFT marketplace. And so what they were known for was digital art cards at the time. And so when he started talking about the different collectibles that they were interested in starting to produce, they mentioned comic books was one of them. And so I was like, hell yeah, you know what I mean? Like, that's awesome because, Gary and I had been working before on a couple of different things. We've worked with you. I mean, we're all about comic books and, work in the independent circuit and so forth, right? So I reached out to him. His name was Ricky. And he was like, hell yeah, let's go ahead and set up a meeting. And so then I, hit up Gary and, told him about a couple of different ideas that I had. And then he came up with a couple of different ideas. And so, we went along into this meeting. And so, I'll let Gary take it over from here.
So one of the things that happened too was, so Sammy didn't tell me that it was comic books at the time. Like, he told me, we're going to be doing cards, and we had these really badass cards that I still think, Sammy, we need to release that were just really cool. Sammy did some really badass coloring on them too. There's like one with the eyeball, and it's like a spider. And I honestly think if we do some of those, like, people will really like freak out. Like, it was really badass. And like, maybe, what was it? Maybe a couple of hours before so he tells me that we're going to go and we're going to talk to these guys, and they want, to kind of like fund us for like NFTs and stuff. And, and he's like, and like maybe a couple of hours before we talk to these guys, Sammy's like, oh, and by the way, they might want to do comic books. And I'm like, oh shit. Okay, well, let's do it. Well, I was in the middle of a brutal divorce. I mean, like a brutal divorce. So, Pete, as well as anybody, that
right.
that I have probably 4 or 5 different comic books that I can use at any, I've already got them done, right? I've already got them finished. I could just, and there they are, right? But I'm in the middle of this divorce, and I knew that my ex-wife at some point was going to try to come after that, right? And so I told Sammy, I'm like, we got nothing. Like Like we have nothing. We gotta literally come up with this shit like right now. Like we gotta come up with an entire plot for a comic book before we go talk to these guys, because they didn't even know we were gonna approach them about comic books.
Well, a little bit of context behind it. So whenever he had mentioned that he wanted to put out like different like collectibles, he had mentioned, you know, different types of games, different types of things. So my whole approach to this meeting was like, okay, hey, let's pitch him 3 different types of things. So of course, you know, Pete, we've talked before about Henry the Elf. So I had the idea of, you know, talking to them about Henry the Elf and being like, hey, so I only need, you know, funding for the last 2 issues. If we could get that done, then we could possibly put it out and this and that. And then there was like this other idea I had for a profile, like a PFP project, one of the ones I was describing before, like a profile picture project. It's just we kind of didn't like have the right mechanics down yet, and like there wasn't a big understanding of like how it was all layers first. Like before, I thought everything was done like everybody was drawing them one by one by one by one, and then I found out, hey, they're all layers. It's all like an algorithm done through coding. So at that point, that wasn't clear to me. So I was like, hey, we're gonna have to do these one by one by one. And so Gary was like, nah, I don't know about that. And then we discussed possibly doing just the game. Like there's this like set of like drawings that Gary did that were fucking awesome. Like these scary like Pokemon style, but like horror. And we're like Gary came up with the idea to call them Prokemon. And so we're possibly thinking about coming out of games similar to Pokemon, but doing it in horror style fashion. So those were like the 3 ideas that like we're going to discuss with them to see, you know, what they would, you know, bite on, because they wanted a whole bunch of different, like they just had ideas to create different types of products because they had NFTs. And it's like I said earlier, Pete, it's like, you know, the wild, wild west. We're really trying to figure out what sticks and how to build this tech. And
yeah, it's all new. Like nobody knows what the fuck is what. And
Nope.
to answer, I think it was that Skinny's Comics that came on. No, if you get divorced, your ex is not going to take half of your debt. They're going to take half your comics. You're going to take half your action figures. They're going to take half your fucking collection. Hide your NFTs because you're going to want to get an NFT because that's a new thing. And you know, I just want to answer his question because he asked a question and I just wanted to verify. No, you're not. They're not gonna. You don't get any positives out of it. You don't get any positive. Are you looking to divorce your wife? Because if you're watching right now, dear Skinny Comics wife, he's asking. He wants to know, and I don't know if you know. That's a rough one right there. But to publicly come out like that against your own wife on this broadcast, I feel for you, man. So. Hide your shit because if she's watching this, man, you're already in trouble. So yeah, so we had those 3 ideas of what we're gonna do, and then like I said, about 2 hours beforehand, Sammy's like, "Oh, and by the way, they might be interested in doing comics." I'm like, "What the comics?" And he's like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "Oh shit." So we really quickly, right, Sammy? Like we really quickly came up with like, I want to say like 3 or 4 ideas. Like we each had 2 ideas, I think, just a pitch. Like what can we come up with that we could just pitch and put out there. And so we pitched them a couple of them, and then they were like, they like Bob Boom, and so we were like, okay, let's run. Like Pete, you have to understand this. Okay, so as a comic book guy, you understand this so well. So we had how long do we have for the first one between when we signed and we're like, yeah, let's go for it.
Like 6 weeks.
Yeah, and the first issue, and nothing's designed.
Nothing. That's
designed. There's
and
no.
So
yeah,
that's kind of like what I wanted to discuss too. Like so, like what was happening in like the NFT space at the time was that everybody was just like focused on artwork, right? And so Paris was like, hey, we're trying to put like backstories behind like the characters that some of the creators that are going to be coming into our platform are creating, because, you know, we're not going to be allowing them to do like DC characters and stuff like that. They had to come up with their own original stuff. And so like they started putting this whole idea of like building like a lore and background to like their characters. And they had this publication thing where creators could go in and like type in stories about like different art cards. And so that was the whole idea that they wanted to build upon. And so like with NFTs, they're like, okay, we got to figure out a new way to create utilization of how to utilize this tech, this NFT, this non-fungible token, right? And so whenever they came up like with the comic concept, we're like, okay, yeah, I mean, it'd be awesome to do comic books and have like 30 pages, right? A 30-page comic book. But hey, dude, this is like if you want something to come out in the next month or two, I mean, it's not going to be 30 pages, right? Like these are like years in advance, and they're like, okay, yeah, let's just see what happens. And so like we were kind of like pioneers in this, right? Like we're just kind of figuring it out. Like we're throwing a rail into like the deepest ocean and trying to see.
Nobody had ever released comic book series, so there had been like one or two comic books that had been put out as NFTs, but nobody had ever done a series before.
No.
We got to hit our deadlines, and we were just like, oh shit. And so I was looking at I was buying Masters of the Universe. I still am buying Masters of the Universe. I'm not gonna lie to you. Okay, I still love him. He-Man's fantastic, and Skeletor's amazing. And but yeah, so I think I even have some here. Oh yeah, I have one right here. Look at me with props ready to go. So I was buying them, and they had these little comic books in them, these little mini comic books in them.
Right.
And I was like, let's do it that way. I was like, let's come out with like ashcan versions. Nobody knows what the fucking ashcan is, but except for unless you've been in comic book publishing, you don't know what an ashcan is. But we had the ashcans. It is all about the boom. That's right.
All about the boom.
What does that say? Real Arcalian? Is that what it says?
Yeah.
Well, it's all about the boom. That's all. I agree 100%. And so that was the way that we presented it. And then all of a sudden, shit started to go real crazy because I realized that, like Sam was saying, we're in the wild, wild west. There's no rules. There's no boundaries. There's nothing that we have to worry about as far as like before, you have to worry about getting shit to a printer or this or that, or being looked over by like a distributor like Diamond or something like that.
No.
Like I was like, shit, like I can do whatever I want.
Yep.
And that's what we're doing. If you haven't read Bob Boom is unlike any comic book that you've ever seen, and it will take you to places that you can't even imagine. I wanted to make it like to where on the outside, if you looked at it, you would go, oh, this is very, maybe this would be like Star Wars, or, maybe this is going to be like, Guardians of the Galaxy. And no, this is something you've never, ever, ever experienced in comic books, because all of those guys, they're all working around the same boundaries and those same rules and the same regulations. And there was just a point where I went, I'm throwing all of that out the window. I'm going to take it as far as I can, to the point where Sammy was going, oh my God. He's like, what are you fucking sending me? Like, what is this shit? Like, it's insane what you're sending me. He was like, I have to sit here. I have to save people. That is indeed what it says. Arcelon, real Arcelon.
Okay.
Arcalian. Okay. Like Raiders of the Arcalian.
There you go.
Arcalian. And kind of mixes
it's
Crystal
a reference
Skull
to something I forget. His name is Jay.
Yeah. I was taken a little back by some of the images I was receiving, and so I could definitely say is the craziest comic that I've ever have partaken in, colored or lettered, anything ever.
Or read or bought at the store.
I mean, it's hysterical.
It's
I mean,
and in a good way. In a good way. It's like when people first saw South Park. People were like, I remember the first time I saw South Park, and the first South Park I ever see is there's like a building, and the parents at this building are flinging themselves onto the building and splatting onto the thing and like squidgying down in protest. And I just remember sitting there going, oh my God, what is this? I'm never like, what the hell is this? And I think that's what people that read Bob Boom are going, you know, I never thought I would see a comic book take shit to the level that this comic books take, but it's all fun. That's the other thing too, is it's not, you know, it's not going to depress you. It's not going to make
it's
you,
definitely
you
not
know,
too serious.
like, oh.
It's definitely not too serious at all.
No. It's fun. It's fun. It's adventure. If anybody asks me what it's about, it's a fun sci-fi-ish adventure that one day they'll make a movie with a whole bunch of multiverse about.
Right? They have a bunch of different variants of Midnight Noon.
A bunch of different shit. Yeah. But it's a fun comic book. And my whole thing is I'm very excited to see how Sammy reacts to the next pages.
I mean, I mean, you saw the last message I sent you when you're like, oh, I sent you page 1 of issue 4. And I was like, oh shit, I thought that was a tree. But yeah, it's not a tree.
It's not a tree. It's not a tree. And that's the comic book that we're drawing right now that Pete is doing the cover for. Just so you know, Pete. Yeah, right. I can't wait for you to see it and with your cover on it, and it's gonna be just absolutely gorgeous. It's gonna be amazing.
Awesome. That it will be.
For those watching, I put some links below to your Instagram Bob Boom page, and also the link to where they can check out the comic, buy the comic, however that works.
Yeah. You have to buy it. You buy it with crypto, so you have to have near tokens.
So you go to Paris, right? You go Paris, and Paris is. Just so we can get it's not like the city. It's not spelled like the city. It's Paras, not Paris. It's Paras. So you follow it. You get the near. Where do they get the near from, Sammy?
Yeah, so it's paras.id. So we're not in like .com anymore, since we're like doing Web3, and Web3 is like a new internet they're building based on blockchain. So yeah, paras.id. And so there's multiple ways, depending on what part of the country you are in or what part of the world that you are in, on how you can get crypto. So like for me and Gary, we're in Texas. And so Texas allows us to utilize crypto.com. And crypto.com is like, I think, the 3rd biggest exchange in the entire world. I mean, the Lakers have their stadium named after crypto.com now. So they're pretty big now. So I'm pretty sure anybody in the United States could get to crypto.com.
So then what you're saying, Sammy, is okay, because a lot of people don't know how to get it, and this is kind of one of the things, one of the big blocks that people have. So if you guys want to get it, you're gonna go to crypto.com. Okay.
Yep.
From crypto.com, you're gonna purchase Near, NEAR. Okay. And then you'll once you have the Near in your little crypto.com wallet, then what you're going to do is you're then going to go follow our link to our comic book page, and then it's going to tell you how many Near, and some of them are just a percentage of Near to purchase, and from there you'll purchase it, and booyah, you have that one of a kind, just like you would have a one of a kind comic book issue in your hand, right? You're going to own that one of a kind one, and there's several different tiers of it. So Pete's tiers are going to be, Pete's probably going to have 2 tiers. And then the other ones will have a couple tiers as well, the cover that we're doing. And then you'll be able to go on there and pick which one you want to look at, or pick which one you want to own. And you can, if you want to, you can get all 5 tiers, because each one is different and each one comes with different stuff.
Yep. Absolutely. Excellent. So yeah, once you get crypto.com and the Near in your wallet, you're able to go ahead and purchase it.
Mm-hmm. Then you can follow the link. And it's real easy. It's a lot easier than you think. And this is the time to do it when it's still ground floor and everybody's coming up, and that's when it's really later on you're gonna make tons of money off of it.
Yeah, and so like I don't know, there's this new thing going on that I was gonna go ahead and talk about while Gary was coming in, and so there's this new thing called NFT staking, and so you could now purchase an NFT, and certain collections will be able to be staked, so that way you could earn rewards in crypto for owning it. And so it's a cool new concept where they're trying to like combine like this whole like the decentralized finance and interest type thing, because you're buying a token, so to speak, right, which is an NFT, but in the form of a comic book. And so it's being looked at as a digital asset. And since it's being looked at as a digital asset, they're trying to figure out ways how you could utilize it to appreciate some of your other tokens. And so it's just a new concept they're starting to experiment with. And it's one of those things that we will be able to hopefully get Bob Boom comic book collection included in it. So that way people could even have more incentive to go ahead and purchase it, not just for the entertainment and the wild, crazy ass story that Gary's coming up with that you've never fucking seen ever in the history of
you'll never see it coming.
Any multiverse of any reality, you've never seen this type of shit. But yeah, so like there's, like I said, like Gary was talking about, this is the time to get into the NFTs, because you don't know what other innovative type things they'll be able to create for us to utilize and, you know, put as value towards people who hold our NFTs, not just for entertainment purposes, but for collectability.
That's awesome. You know, it's like I was looking at the Instagram Bob Boom page and looking through the artwork, and what came to mind was it reminded me of Yellow Submarine. Remember Yellow Submarine?
Yeah, for the Beatles.
Yeah, that was some crazy shit back then. You know?
Oh yeah, yeah. I like to think I'm on par with the Beatles as far as what I will come up with. These guys are okay, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy stuff, man. It's a lot of different stuff. Very bright colors. I'm sick of all these dark comic books.
Right.
Oh, just wait till they see what all the darkness in page 1 of issue 4.
I ran out of ink.
Oh, it's dark, all right.
I like that Yellow Submarine. That's cool. Maybe I'll somehow incorporate that into the situation that we're in this this comic book. He's so far down the rabbit hole right now that I'm not sure how he's gonna get out.
And that's another thing, right? Like this is all being created by Gary as we go. Like that's like unheard of, right? Like how many people are writing their comic books and then putting it out in the month? Like it's
in real time.
In real time, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Like Sammy doesn't know what's coming up next on any of the pages. Like he gets the pages and he goes, what the fuck is this? Like what's going on here?
Yeah, it's like it's crazy too. Like I'll get like issue 2 or issue 3 first. I'm like I have to fill in the blanks, and then the blanks they're never as good as what actually comes, because I'm like, oh shit, like something like this is probably gonna happen because I got this page, right? And it's like, oh no, when I get it, it's like, oh whoa.
Like it's really my whole entire thing right now. This comic book is entertaining Sammy, and so I can freak him out.
Right.
Like if I'm freaking Sammy out with each page, I know I'm on the right track. I know it's just fun. I'm like I wonder how he's gonna react to this.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
What do the people you're doing it for think? Like, you know, I'm sure they've read it.
They they love it. They love it. I mean, they're cool with it. They love it. They like. So okay, like I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, but yeah, these guys are out of Indonesia. So a lot of the people and the community they have outreach to are in Asia. And so the type of artwork they get in Asia is more like manga and anime style, right? So, with Gary's style and how he does cross hatching and all the different, rendering on all the art that he does, I mean, it's a different dynamic to the art. And so that's what they were really interested in, like seeing like the Western style comic versus, the Asian Dragon Ball Z type anime stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like all the, what is it? One Punch Man, all those like basic line, like cartoons. You know what I mean? This is just different.
Yeah.
And so that's what they wanted. And right now, actually, you could actually submit your retro comic to Paris, and they might throw you some like a grant to start. And now that we've been experimenting,
Sammy knows some people.
Yeah, I could,
well, they're having a contest, right? Aren't they having a contest?
Yeah, they're having a contest for Paris Comic right now, where they're accepting different panels and top. I don't know exactly what they win right now, just because I don't know. I just know that I'm a judge.
It's like an Indonesian Idol.
Yeah, it is. It's exactly like that, right? So
they asked me to be a judge. I was like, I couldn't do it. I was like, because I would rip them apart, and I was so like, I don't want to sit there and be like Sammy's nice, right? If Sammy doesn't really like it, Sammy's gonna be like, it's good, and I think that it's, and me, I'm gonna be like, look, the pinky on the hand is way too long. I would be like the Simon Cowell of this shit. I would just be like, I would just tear it apart. I'd be like, your perspectives are all fucked up. Like, you really need to go home and get a ruler. Do you own a ruler? Have you ever looked at a human being before? Because your anatomies are all fucked up. Like, have you look in the mirror, look at some people, maybe, to figure out what the fuck you're doing. Now, I would tear them to pieces. So I had to turn it down.
Yeah. So
Comic Talk with Pops Van Zandt says, hey yo, Comics Talk with Pops Van Zandt.
Hey, what's up, man? Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what gets sent to me, right? Just to see what like type of artists they have outreaches to, because like I said, they're on the other side of the world. It's hilarious because whenever we speak to them, it's like 12 hours apart. So like right now, like they'd be hitting me up and say, hey, it's already tomorrow for them. And for us, it's just like, no, we're still like past. So like it's just crazy. It's just crazy sometimes. I'm like, oh, good morning. And it's like, oh no, it's night for them.
Yeah.
And so it's a crazy relationship, but we're, like I said, we're experimenting with all the different things, and the more we learn about this space, the more we'll be able to incorporate into the comic book business that we have grown to love.
Yeah, for real. Somebody just said paging Rob Liefeld, and they put lie like with L-I-E. Like, I don't know, you guys, whoever did that, do you just hate Rob Liefeld? Because I'm not a big Rob Liefeld guy either. I don't really like Rob Liefeld. I mean, like I kind of I appreciate what he's done in the industry, but I think most of what he's done is some weird shit that's that I don't really respect that much. As far as, like, I just said I respect it, but then I said I don't respect it. Like it's a weird thing with Rob Liefeld, right? Like, I respect that he's done as much as he's done, right, and the success that he's had, but I really don't. Oh yeah, and the bad anatomy and art. Yeah, that's where I don't respect him, is his artwork. I think Rob Liefeld's artwork is absolute shit. For the most part, like you can't, like, you know, if Stan Lee sits there and tells you, you know, learn how to draw feet, you know, and Stan Lee's the nicest guy in the world, for him to tell you that, you know, and then, or was the nicest guy in the world. And then, like, yeah, so yeah, I'm not really big on Rob Liefeld. Like, I respect what he's done in the industry, but like Deadpool is I respect what other people have done with Deadpool versus Liefeld's initial rip-off interpretation of whatever the fuck he did with Deadpool in the beginning. It's just, ugh. So, yeah. His anatomy was awful, god awful.
So right now, the plan is still for you to do 6 issues?
Yes. Yeah, we're under contract to do 6 issues. We're going to talk to them, and if they want to do more issues, we'll do more issues with them.
Right. Cool.
Yep.
Do you know?
Yeah, we have to do them.
Do you have any idea?
There's no getting out of it.
Well?
I'm sorry?
Do you have any idea how well it's doing?
Yeah, we're the #1 selling NFT comic book globally.
On the near blockchain for sure. Yeah, we're like, there's 4 or 5 titles, and we've generated more sales than all of them combined as of right now.
Once McFarlane gets into it, which I know he's talking about his thing, which has odd in it because, you know, McFarlane has to always copy me. That's a joke, people who don't know me that are gonna judge me and sit there and be like, I'm joking, guys, okay? But yeah, it's got some kind of odd thing in it, and but yeah, as soon as they put that out, I mean, you know, we'll still be #1. So fuck them, you know?
Yeah, it's good too, because I mean, the more people that we have coming in that are like comic book enthusiasts, the better, right? We're gonna already be there. So I don't know. I think it's just a good opportunity to be first.
Yeah, it's funny because, you know, like the previous video where I was sketching out the thumbnails, you know, I posted the link on Twitter and hashtag NTF and NFT, and some guy that was doing NFT comics responded to me. And the first time it was like, okay, this is an actual person. He's responding to me because he sees connection, blah, blah, blah. But then I, you know, posted about it again on Twitter the next day or whatever. And it was the same response. It was like, oh, this is just a fucking bot, you know?
Oh, we get so many bots, bro.
For promotion, you know?
Yeah. Dude, you don't even know.
He's trying to promote his own thing, and it's like not really responding to what I got going on or whatever. Yeah.
I wish you lived in my DMs, Pete. You don't even know. And like,
yes, you do, Sammy. Yes, you do.
It's ridiculous, and it's crazy because it's like on like every single platform, I'm talking about. Telegram, I got so many messages on Telegram, Discord. I have like 1,200 missed notifications on Discord right now. It's insane. And Twitter is like my messages box is going off. It's insane. And I mean, some people I do know, but I mean, other people it's just like, whoa, hey, you want to know about this NFT? You want to know about this NFT? Hey, have you ever heard of this in the metaverse? Hey, have you ever heard of this in the metaverse?
Yeah. You can post whatever you post. I don't give a fuck what it is. Post anything. Whoever's watching this, post something on social media and put hashtag NFT. And you're gonna get a gazillion bots that are like, oh, I love it. Like it'd be a white, just white. And they'll be like, oh, I love this. It's fantastic. Post it on our site right now. And NFT this, or you know, and you get a gazillion of those.
And it's like, yo, nah, I don't respond to half those. But I do. I mean,
he does respond to the other half, though. Just so you know.
The other half. Yeah,
he doesn't. Half of them, he's like, those are bots. But the other half of the bots, he's like,
I do take a shot every now and then, and sometimes people respond.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's actually people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just had Arc Alien was back on there talking about some kind of bots. I don't know, some three-headed bots that were something
Like the
doing
the
something
three
or
little
something.
Russian bots.
That-
Oh yeah, there is some
yeah.
Russian bot in the chat.
Russian bots. Oh, what do you guys
Yeah,
think
we
of
get
Russia?
Russian bots in
Ah.
YouTube chat, and there's more bots showing up in Instagram. Yeah, they're all over the place.
It's wild, man. The bots are crazy.
Yeah, like who's in control of these bots? Like, here's my thing, right? Is like on Instagram and Facebook, I can't even promote. I can't even fucking pay to promote Bob Boom. I don't know if you guys know this, but you can't pay to promote
No.
an NFT on Instagram or Twitter. And yet these motherfuckers got bots that are floating the fuck around and jumping in Sammy's inbox. You know what I'm saying? Like, how is that legal? And I can't even fucking, I can't even pay to promote. Like, I can't even like put my own commercial out right now.
It's wild. It's wild. It's so crazy that we can't promote. And like,
we're still doing great.
Challenge.
Even without
that's another challenge we have. It's another challenge we're having because of all the regulations surrounding around crypto. So I mean, until we get towards mass adoption, I mean, we're kind of like in an uphill battle. But it's all fun and games, and we're all in it for the experiment, right? And I'm all about being a pioneer in this. I really like the opportunity. I like science experiments. I've always been like all about that type. I was good at that class when I was younger. Probably one of the only good ones I was at. But yeah, man. I mean, it's exciting. It's exciting.
Yeah. Well, it's like I wish you guys the best with it, and hope you do continue on with your series and that it's a huge success. If there's anything we haven't covered, we've reached an hour, and I got to get some sleep. But I'll give you guys the floor if you want to just throw out some points or where you want to direct people or anything.
Just honestly, the Twitter accounts, the Instagram account, and the Facebook account. If you have one of those, go on there, look up Bob Boom, BOBBOOM. Just in case. I don't know if you can spell or not. I don't fucking know. I'm just gonna assume that maybe, but I don't know. Yeah, just go on there, check it out, and that'll have all the links to everything that you guys want. You can look and peruse, and we really don't give away anything about the story and the plot on anything, because it's so just weird that once people start reading it, they're gonna continue to read it. Really all I would say is, get on there, get one issue, try it out. Get your feet a little wet with this NFT thing that's going on now and the crypto that's going on now. And, that's really, I know everybody wants to try it because I want to try it. Everybody I'm talking to wants to try it, but they're just like, I don't know where to start. And this would be a great spot for you to start and support comic books within this industry. If you like comic books, you're going to dig this. If you like just about anything, you're gonna like it. So go on there and just crypto.com, get the near, go to one of our Facebook pages or Instagram or whatever, like it, follow us, so that way you get all the updates on it. And then if you guys are already following Pete here, Pete's comic book is gonna be Pete's cover is gonna be on the next issue. So you're definitely gonna want to pick that up because I mean, that's a collectible right there, motherfuckers. I mean, if there's one thing I could say right now to anybody watching this right now who loves Pete as much as we love Pete, and this is why we asked Pete to help us out with this situation, I mean, you got to get the Pete cover. If you don't get the double P with the retro in between cover, then I don't know what the fuck's wrong with you. Then you're not the real deal. That's all. Sorry, Sammy.
Yeah, so all what Gary said, and well, you could follow all the pages at Bob_Boom comic on all the social media platforms. So Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, they're the same handles. And then, so yeah, I know we talked about a couple different things uh, regarding Bob Boom, but if you wanted to go ahead and reach out to me, I could go ahead and help you guys out and navigate you through how to purchase a Bob Boom comic. So my DMs are always open. Obviously, I get all the bots too. So let me know you're not a bot, and I'll know you watched this particular stream. So my handle is at Samtoshi_F_baby on Twitter and Instagram. And like I said, my DMs are open. I am gonna start doing a couple of like onboarding like things for Near. So if you ever wanted to come into like this metaverse place that was created and I helped design, it's like a virtual reality space, and I could help you navigate through the Near ecosystem in a friendly way. And so yeah, follow me on Twitter to get more information about that. That will definitely help you learn how to get the Bob Boom comic.
And in his DMs, just put code word Palmiotti, so that way he knows that you watched the show and that you're not a bot. And any bot that hears this, you don't use that code word.
Yeah, don't use that code word,
bot. So only people that only non bots. Yeah. Code word Palmiotti. It's also Sammy's safe word.
It is. When I'm in danger,
when he's tied up and having a good time. When he's tied up, oiled up, and having a good time, that's also a safe word. Just so you know. Palmiotti. All right, I'll stop. Fine.
Yes. Yeah. Thanks everybody for watching. Everybody who showed up in the chat, except you Russian bots. But we love everybody here, and yeah, I'll definitely be back next week. It's already Thursday here in my world. So yeah, everybody have a great night, and I'll talk to you soon. Let me hit the double button so we can get out of here.